happening, everybody? Welcome inside. I'm going to use my friendly voice, my welcoming voice. We're about to welcome a guest who I don't want to be frightened off. This is a bit of a wellness check for today's guest. A little worried about her. Michaela Schreiter. This is a safe place. Welcome back. Thanks for doing this. How are you today?
Well, Matt, I am doing okay. I'm trying to focus on what I can control. And the positives. It's a beautiful day outside, and we're just not going to think about Thursday at 1:10 p.m. It hasn't happened yet, so we're not going to think about it.
Oh, because see, I was only going to ask you about Thursday. At
and then I came on a podcast and had to talk exactly about that.
Look, we're going to get to that and everything that goes along with that. I'm curious, though, just in a general sense around these Olympics being contested in a time zone that I'm sure works very well with your schedule. Outside of the hockey, I'm curious, how much have you taken in? Have you been fully, enveloped by the Olympic experience, or how's it been for you this time?
Yeah, I have it on in the background pretty much all day. I'm lucky enough to work from home most days, so it stays on in the background. I check in and out of what's going on. Hockey's obviously the sport that I'm like building my calendar around. So yes. I men's and women's. I'm like, okay, these are the times Canada plays. Like I'm very mindful of that. But other than that, I just kind of always have it on in the background. A few of the sports that always catch me and have really grabbed me this year is like anything snowboard or ski based, especially the moguls and the half pipe and the snowboard and ski cross. Like alpine skiing is a little too intense and it makes me very nervous, and Lindsey Vohn's crash is a prime example of that. But those kind of and I'm forgetting the name of it now, but the one that we won gold in on Monday.
Slope style
slope style. Yeah, like that kind of, oh my God, it's so much fun to watch. But as someone who skis, I also I was watching it yesterday and just seeing how steep that hill is, I want to throw up.
Well, the addition this year of the drones behind, it's brilliant for television, and yet you're like, oh shit, I had no idea that was like a 90-degree drop when they came out of the gate or whatever. Right?
The same with the bobsled and the
yes.
luge and skeleton. The drones really give you a sense of how fast it is, and that's why I'm not an Olympic athlete, Matt.
That's the only reason I
know.
Yeah. No, I think you've probably seen the same memes that I have, whereas the Summer Games, and let's be realistic here, but feel relatable. I'll get crushed, but I can run. I could swim. I could whatever. Not to this degree, not this well, but I feel like I could do that. And then you turn on the Winter Games, it's I'm going to throw myself off this mountain backwards at 97 miles per hour and see what happens. You're like, it just feels like death-defying every time you turn it on. It's wild, though.
Winter Olympic athletes be out there risking their lives, and then there's curling.
Yes. Which apparently were big cheaters at, right?
Oh my God, the cheating scandal in curling has been my favorite thing. First of all, anytime you see someone about to throw hands during a curling match, honestly, I'm all in.
Yeah, fuck off. You're oh, wow.
I am sat so hard. And then for it to also happen in the women's game, I was like, are we cheaters? Yeah, I love this for us.
We're about to do this. And then the Brits, just in unity, I think, got caught the next day. So I think, it's a Commonwealth thing.
It's a Commonwealth thing. Yes, exactly.
So I do love that. And look, I love that it's literally everything else online. Suddenly everyone is a curling expert on whether you can double touch and what the hog line is and all these sorts of things. It's tremendous, though. And it reminds me a little, Schreids, I know I'm a tad older than you, but the 2002... And we don't have to think about what these people have turned into, but the Jamie Soleil, David Pelletier controversy, and all of a sudden we're ice dance experts or we're figure skating experts. We have been robbed. This is, and now
did it happen again this year? There was our ice dancing couple that won bronze. I believe I don't think it was so much that the Canadians should have won. It was that the French couple won. And people were mad about it.
The French judge or something, as it often seems.
I'm just going to say it was a French judge in 2002, too. I'm just pointing it out.
Huh. Yes.
Interesting.
Yeah. I am curious what you've thought thus far of the round robin in the women's hockey tournament and like we'll get to looking ahead if you'll allow it, Schreiter. But I'm sort of curious, just in a general sense, we did see the Swiss and the Swedes make the semifinal. This is the final year of this particular format for women's hockey at international play, where there's sort of Group A is like your best teams, Group B is sort of the second group, and you still get a chance, like you'll play in a quarterfinal and a chance to move up and still get through. I got to be honest with you, when they implemented this, I really liked it, and it almost reminds me of the way, well, frankly, curling used to do a lot of their playoffs, where they get you as many games as possible at your level. And I thought that was good for the women's game, and we're about to go away from that and go back to more balanced pools moving forward. But we did see the Swedes, who I grant you are maybe not the perfect example here because they are a traditional hockey power, who were underserved or mistreated by their own federation. But we did see the Swedes come up from Group 2 and get themselves into a semifinal, so it is doable. What have you thought of that format and the fact that we're going to move away from it?
I didn't know we were moving away from it.
This is apparently last year, yeah. So
this is news to me.
Okay.
I don't know. I have a lot of feelings about the round. I guess I shouldn't say I have a lot of feelings. I have a lot of feelings about other people's feelings regarding the round robin play in women's hockey. That it feels like we have this conversation every year, and I'm not saying that this is what you're bringing up, but like every year in the round robin, there's usually a lopsided score here or there.
Yep.
This year, I've been pleasant. Like the biggest lopsided scores were what, like 5-0 at the hands of either Canada or the US.
The days of the 14-1 games those days are gone. Like,
yeah, and I kind of love that. We'll talk about Canada, Switzerland. 2-1's too close. I don't like that, yeah, but it's always really frustrated me because inevitably when that happens, and it happens at all levels of international hockey, men's and women's, there's a conversation of whether or not women's hockey should even be in the Olympics. The competition isn't there, blah, 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 blah. We go through this whole fucking rigmarole, excuse my language. And yet this year, I find it very funny that we didn't see any real lopsided scores in women's hockey, but we saw a couple on the men's side.
We sure did.
And I don't hear one person going, should men's hockey be a sport? So I would just like to point that out. But yeah,
fair.
Let's be honest. Like the round robin, the like qualifying games, it's good to get a measure of where you are. I think they're very important. And at the same time, I'm really waiting for the quarterfinals, the semifinals, and the gold medal game. Like that's what I'm. However they get there, fine. I think the important thing is that Canada and the US don't end up in the same group somehow, because I don't think that's going to end up being. I think on the one hand, and maybe I can like talk myself in a circle here, that would be kind of fun, because then one of them would be out before the gold medal game.
Which one?
But I don't think it's a true.
That's not that much fun.
No, it's not. It's only fun if that ends up being Canada. Yeah. But in the 2019 World Championships, we saw that happen, and it was not fun for Canada. But I think as long as it allows for a true indication of the top teams, right? Like sometimes I get worried with groups and how they're going to play out, because like if you have a really tough group, you may not, you may have one of the best teams in the world not come out. Because it was just tough competition. And so you don't get a true sense of like it being best on best by the time you get to the elimination round. But that's really my only concern.
And that's what makes my argument, I suppose, a little disingenuous, is that, look, see, the Swedes came out of that bottom group. You're like, yeah, but the Swedes never should have been in that bottom group. Like that's a traditional hockey power that was mistreated by their own federation. Finally, that federation got their shit together, started to treat their women's program the way they should, and all of a sudden they made the leap that they always should have made. And yet, I do like the idea that, at least at a World Championships, I don't know if an Olympic Games is the same thing, but you all show up and you play teams that are at your level. The door is still open for you to move up. Now, as we move forward, you'll have most years Canada in one pool, USA in the other pool, and you'll have your other hockey powers, your Switzerlands, your Czechias, your Swedens, your Finlands, kind of mixed in those groups as well. But now Japan's got to take a swing with Canada, or France has not, on the men's or women's side, covered themselves in glory at this tournament. So there are pros and cons, but I do think at some point we had to take a step out of this current format and get back to a more standard format. It just makes me nervous when that time is. Like, if it is now, if we're ready to do it, but at some point you have to do it, and I guess that's where we're at.
And I do think that the competition in the women's side, we've already seen it take huge strides, but this is the first Olympics that we've had the PWHL, and
yes,
it's only been around for a couple of years, and already, like, I think you could make an argument that we've seen the impact of that in other teams, right? Czechia and Finland, at least coming into this tournament, having a number of notable names, and
for me, those were 3 and 4, like I expected, and neither got there. Like, it's odd.
Yeah, but at the same time, like, I think that even them just being teams to watch, and them having players who have played with or against players from Team Canada and Team USA, like, it only serves to benefit everyone. So I'm looking forward to, in 2030, kind of going through a full Olympic cycle of having the PWHL and seeing what that impact is.
Well, and we're going to see. Maybe you have a better handle on this than me. Maybe it's just the way their contracts work, whatever. We haven't seen many Swedes in the PWHL, and I'm suddenly reading that, like, after this year and after next year, there's going to be a flood. I don't know if that was just the Swedish Women's League seeing the PWHL coming and locking up a bunch of their players, or how that worked. But, like, that's only going to benefit both the PWHL and Team Sweden to suddenly see those players start to flood in as well now, because we really haven't seen many of them so far over here.
Yeah, no, that's fair. I do wonder if it's because the Swedish Women's League is, I guess it would be one of the only competing leagues in the world.
For sure.
And I anytime I've watched this tournament and I've, like, seen a player I don't recognize, aka the Swiss goalie, and I've gone, who does she play for? It's always the Swedish league if it's not the PWHL.
That's right.
So yeah, I think that's probably fair. Maybe there's a bunch of contracts about to expire, but I think it would be great for Swedish hockey to, respectfully to the Swedish Elite League or Swedish Women's League, like, to have more players in the PWHL. It was really tough to see them take such a step back because they were defunded by their federation.
Yes.
So I'd love to see their women's team do better in the years to come.
So let's get into it here, Schreids. You and I talked when they named the national team, and you pushed back on me, and I'm happy to defer to you. You have a better eye on this than me. I didn't like a couple of the picks, and yet I did not think. I want to be careful because they're still playing in a gold medal game, and they could I was going to say very easily. It's still very possible they win this gold medal game, and I think the criticisms I had of the roster haven't necessarily played out the way I thought they would. Like, I'm not sitting here going, you don't get waxed by the Americans 5-0 or whatever it was in the round robin if you had just brought Danielle Serdachny and Chloe Primerano. It's more complicated than that. There's more going on than that. And maybe it's no more complicated than just this American team is a fucking wagon that no one is going to grab onto this year. And so, we can talk about that. But you had some pushback on some of the concerns I had. I'm sort of curious now, after having had a look at it, what you think has been the difference, because it's not just that one game against the Americans. There's been a couple occasions where this Canadian team looks disjointed. I would stop short of saying disinterested, but there's just something that isn't quite clicking. And I don't know if you think it's line combinations. I don't know if you think it's usage by the coaching staff. I'm curious, just in a general sense, is they have gotten to the point where we always thought they would get a showdown in the gold medal game with the Americans, but it has not been smooth sailing. What do you think's happening over there?
It's honestly a little, well, I'll say it's a little inexplicable, but then I'll explain why. This roster should be performing better than they are. There's no, like, I know a lot of people were like, oh, they're so old. And I made the argument before, they have 6 players between the ages of 24 and 26. I don't want to hear the old argument. Oh, Jocelyn the Rock. Jocelyn the Rock has been honestly one of their better players, if we're being honest. This roster is very good, and they should be playing better than they are. They look disjointed. They look unorganized. They can't finish. They're giving the puck away for absolutely no reason with no pressure on them. It doesn't make sense to me. And then so when you see to me anyway, when you see a roster that should be performing better than they are, the reason is usually coaching.
Yep.
And it's hard not to look at Troy Ryan, who's coached a very mediocre Toronto Scepters team this year, and go, dude, what the hell are you doing? Like, why are we only seeing Jen Gardner for 5 minutes a game?
Mm-hmm.
Why are we only seeing Kristen O'Neill and Julia Gosling for under 10 minutes a game? These are some of your better younger players. And
you have to be able to identify. They're the ones going right now, right? Like,
yeah, they've been playing very well.
Yeah.
And you know, I listen, Marie-Philippe Poulin is Marie-Philippe Poulin, and you put her out there, injured or not, she's clearly one of the better players.
Riding over with the goalie on a cart and then having an incredible game.
And then being the only one to score.
Yeah.
Like, that's and okay, they had 48 shots on Switzerland in the semifinal game.
Mm-hmm.
Like, and there was like 50 in the round robin game against Switzerland. And so on the one hand, you go, okay, well, they had 46 shots. If they had 46 shots on goal, okay, well, that's a pretty good performance. But I'm like, why can't you score? Why? Like, the goalie was great, sure, but why are you not able, at a certain point, if you have that many shots on net, you should be able to bury more than 2. Yeah. And they can't. And it's so frustrating watching this team because I know they are underperforming to a level that is it's hard to explain. And when you get to that, I think the answer is coaching. Because you're
bad,
right?
Because he helped pull this program up. Like he has been a good coach for them up almost right until this point. And now it's
I don't want to take anything away from him, but Canada is one of those teams where, like, you could throw me out there as a coach and the roster is going to do. And I'm not trying to like disparage Troy Ryan.
Right.
I've never really gotten why he's there.
Okay.
Especially when you have someone like Corey Chevry standing beside him, who has coached the Victoire to very good regular season performances. I don't necessarily understand why Troy Ryan has always been the guy, or at least has been the guy for the last couple of years. We see it on the men's side all the time. It's no different on the women's side. Hockey Canada loves their guys.
Yep.
And when you are in with Hockey Canada, you're in, and there's not a lot to get you out. And I do think what we're seeing is a coach who
Jordan
maybe
Bennington, what's happening, buddy? Good to see you, man.
Well, exactly. Like we're looking. Oh, sorry, I forgot what I was going to say. We're looking at a coach who maybe has run past his expiration date with this team, and he's still here because Hockey Canada is Hockey Canada, and they're never going to change. That's what I've really chalked this tournament up to. Is the roster is too good for how they're performing. We can cry old all we want. I don't think that's the issue. I don't think Daniel Serdachny or Chloe Primerano would have fixed this. I think that the American younger players are some of the best players in the world.
They're driving
and
the
better.
bus over there.
They're better than our younger players.
Yes.
That's it. I don't think any changes in this roster would have fixed what we're seeing. I think the usage is an issue. I think there's something in that locker room that is dragging these players down because they are vastly underperforming.
And yet it's always it seems like a bit more lopsided of a coin flip, but it's always a coin flip when you get to a gold medal game of Canada USA. And I think the part that bugged me and is bugging me now is that Danielle Serdachny and Chloe Primerano and whether you want to throw Mika Zandyhart into this or whatever, I'm not sure they're changing anything right now. But what you're seeing on that Team USA is the Carolyn Harvey and Layla Edwards and Hannah Bilke. These are some of their youngest players, and they're driving the ship, and they still have Alex Carpenter and Hillary Knight and Kendall Coyne Schofield. And, they've sort of got this mix, and I feel like you've missed an opportunity here because in 4 years, Chloe Primerano most certainly will be on the team and will be an important part, and she won't have any experience, right? She'll have to work out the jitters at the same time that you're counting on her. I sort of think you've missed an opportunity to work some of these players in, but I do agree with you that this roster should be better than it is. And if we thought that this was lopsided going into it based on the rivalry series and based on World Championships last year, then it was lopsided to a point of 55-45 USA or something like that. And now suddenly going into this gold medal game, it feels significantly more daunting than that. And so while you're feeling like the underdog, you're also not feeling like you're well set up for the future. I know I've said this to you before, Schreids. The last time Cheryl Pounder was in studio here, she told me Canada will be fine at these Olympics. We'll see what happens. They may win, they may lose, but they'll be fine. It's the next wave. It's the next quadrennial where the USA appears to be miles ahead of us. Is that the vibe you're getting?
Oh, absolutely. Again, the American younger players are just better than our younger players. Yeah. That's just the way it is. Like there's, I think the wider systemic issue here is that Hockey Canada's development program is clearly miles behind the US. Like in terms of depth players, younger players, like America is taking over. Absolutely. I will say, we talk about the rivalry series as this massive lopsided thing, and it was. The World Championships was an overtime win for the US.
That's right.
And that to me is like, that's the coin flip that we always talk about when we talk about these two teams. And that roster by and large was the same for Team Canada as we're seeing now. And yet no one was talking about the veterans and how they're too old and blah, blah, blah. It was under a year ago.
Yeah.
Like they can't have aged that much. I know it feels like a while, but they can't have aged that much. And
trust me, Schreiter, you're going to get here. It happens fast when it happens.
I wouldn't have raged if the younger players like Chloe Primerano had made this team. I think it would have been fair. For me, it's always like, who do you take off? And I have a hard time taking people off, but I understand maybe like, you still have to earn your spot. Yeah, You want to give these players experience, but I also don't want to roll the dice on an Olympics just to get someone some experience. Marie-Philippe Poulin came into the Olympics at 18 years old and scored both goals, right? Like sometimes you either have it or you don't. And you've got a professional league, you've got world championships to give players other experiences in these gold medal games. I know the Olympics are kind of a bigger stage, but I think Canada has a massive development issue. I don't think the issue is the roster construction right now. I think their overall development of young players is the problem, because none of our players even come close to Abby Murphy or Carolyn Harvey.
No, I'm still having nightmares about seeing Layla Edwards just step it. And this is, again, it circles back to coaching. Like, if you look at this roster objectively, it is Julia Gosling, it is Kristen O'Neill, it is Jen Gardner, and yet they're getting miles less ice time than players who, look, have had huge success for Canada in the past, but aren't clicking right now, aren't going right now. And at some point, you've got to lean into that and go, okay, these are my guys tonight. Sorry. You know what I mean? These are my players tonight are these ones. And until somebody else shows me they've got it going on, I got to lean on, if I thought it was my fourth line, maybe it isn't. And so coaching is a big part of that, and usage is a big part of that. This is still a supremely talented roster, but it's just not clicking. And whether that's line construction, whether that's defensive like I've seen players who are killer in their own zone, Joss Larocque included, like Renata Fost. There's been some bad plays, and all you can do is go, somebody told you to do that. Somebody, when all of them are falling apart at the wrong time, when all of them are giving up the line, when all of them are letting Layla Edwards step to the middle of the ice between the hash mark, like, that's systematic. That's what somebody told you to do, and it was a bad idea.
Teams are picking this team apart.
Yeah.
Like again, they've won. Like I say that they're going to the gold medal game, and they've won, but it hasn't been. They haven't looked good.
Germany's
in
getting good looks, like, and they don't have the finish. I get that, but they're getting. They know what to do. Yeah, hey. But they knew what to do. They had the book on Canada. Like, we may not have the talent to finish the way we should, but we know what to do because they're giving up the line and because they're allowing teams to step to the middle, and that's coaching. That's systems. Yeah. Go ahead. Sorry.
I was just going to say one of the things that also stood out to me, and I know that there were a lot of questions even of putting some of these players on the roster, but like, I don't think Sarah Nurse is fully healthy. She hasn't looked that great. Natalie Spooner played 4 minutes in the last game, so I think she's still dealing with something. Mm-hmm. I think it makes sense.
Poulin is not healthy.
and then she's playing 23 minutes?
And the only one scoring? Yeah.
The only one scoring. God bless this woman, but she can 17 minutes. She can only do so much. Mm-hmm. And that's the thing. Like, this team is so good and so deep that you should one, be able to withstand Poulin being gone for a couple of games.
Yes.
And two, you should be able to give her some support when she is in the lineup. And we just haven't seen that. Like, she's the only player scoring.
Yeah.
How do you let that happen? It's so frustrating, but I think it's a coaching issue. There's nothing in this lineup that I can go, okay, that player's the problem. That player's the problem.
No.
This is a systemic issue.
So last thing then, there is still a gold medal. You and I are both sounding a little defeatist. There is a game to be played. I'm going to take away from you. You're not allowed to just say Anne-Renée Desbiens or Marie-Philippe Poulin. What does it look like for Canada to pull this out of the fire? Because even in our darkest hour right now, this is no worse than 60-40 for the U.S. Like, you can win this game. And that's why I took those two. I assume Anne-Renée Desbiens will be great. I assume Poulin will do what she does. But the rest of the team's going to have to pull their weight. What does that look like for you to shut down what has been... Well, I don't think the Americans have given up a goal yet in this tournament. Is that right? Like, yeah. Okay, I'm not helping Schreiter's mental health. She's reacting to some things over there. What does a competitive game where Canada pulls this one out of the fire look like if it isn't just stolen by Desbiens and Poulin?
So I will say one thing that might be a controversial take. I haven't loved Anne-Renée Desbiens' game.
Mm-hmm.
And I know they're probably going to go with her because she is the starting goalie.
Team Mashy.
I would go, maybe I'm a charge apologist, but I would go with Emrys Mashmeyer. She knows a thing or two about being peppered every night and carrying the load for her team.
She does know that.
So that's one thing. I think
if
whoever...
I could circle you back to your Hockey Canada loves their guys, though.
Yeah, they're going to go with Anne-Renée Desbiens. Yep. And again, like
and
any other time, I get
that.
it.
Yeah.
She is the best goalie. She just has. I haven't loved her game this tournament.
I'm with you.
Every time she steps out of the net, I have a little panic attack. But it's got to look like her playing her absolute best game of her career, because America is going to come at them, and they're going to come at them hard. Mm-hmm. And Canada is going to... I hate the term goalied, because a goalie is a part of your team, and if you get goalied, your team still won. But Canada's going to have to goalie America a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
And this is something I don't know that's going to happen, but like, I'd love to see some of these players who have had great tournaments, who have looked really good, get more than under 10 minutes a game. I'd love to see Julia Gosling get more time, Jen Gardner, Kristen O'Neill. I'd love to see Emily Clark. Like, Emily Clark's looked really good. She and Brianne Jenner obviously like play together in Ottawa. They have great chemistry, and they're having, well, Emily Clark was injured to start the year, but like, Jenner's having a career year. Like, I'd like to see them...
I need a little more Claire Thompson. Like, when you're trailing for the whole game, like they were in the round robin against the Americans, and you've still got... And look, we can debate all day Joss Larocque's position on the... She's a defenseman, like a defender, like defense first player at this point, and you've got Claire Thompson eating less minutes than her. That doesn't work for me.
Not in the last game, though.
In the American game?
Larocque had... sorry, I was looking at the
I'm looking at the Team
game.
USA game, where Claire Thompson had fewer minutes than Larocque. That doesn't work for me when you're trailing the whole time. Like...
So maybe they go with something similar to Switzerland, where Larocque had, I think, 13 minutes. Thompson had 17. So yeah, like Claire Thompson and Sophie Jakes, in my opinion, are the shining stars of this blue line.
Yeah.
More of them all the time, forever and ever. Amen. Please.
And honestly, Renata Foss hasn't had a great tournament either. And you need a big game from her. You need her to be, because she's still capable of that. Obviously, like, she's not aged out. She's fantastic. Yeah. But there's been some minutes where she's being pushed out at her own blue line. Where I don't know. There's just some things happening
some
here.
Some Toronto bias from the head coach in Toronto.
Well, sometimes I like that. I don't love it right now.
that is like I have.
Yeah.
It's hard to ignore that. Again, it's one of the products of having a professional league now. But like, it's hard to ignore the fact that there are some players that get more playing time. And
Jordan Binnington is here because his GM is running the men's team. And Anthony Cirelli was going to be here because his coach was running. You get
Hockey
those
Canada,
opportunities. Man. You get those opportunities when you play for your... And so, look, I am not for a second suggesting Renata Foss shouldn't have been on this team. That she's, she's a tent post for this organization. But she's struggled a bit in this tournament, and they're not quick to react to that. They're not quick to make the adjustments you need to.
No, I honestly, we're going to need a miracle, Matt. I'm going to be real honest. This team has not played well enough to beat America. They showed that. They literally got demolished by the States in the round robin, and I have not seen anything from this team to give me any confidence going into the gold medal game against an American team that is probably the most dangerous I've ever seen them.
Will that do anything to make it less stressful for you when you sit down to watch it? Now that you
just go in with the assumption that we're going to lose.
Does that help you at all?
I'm trying. I don't think it's going to help. I think I made this
Trust
joke
this Leaf fan. When you know you're going to lose, it doesn't help you. It doesn't help you handle the loss. I
should be coming to you for this advice. You know a thing or two. I think I made this joke on the last episode, but like this tournament really, I always say this tournament determines my mood for the next 4 years, but that's a lie. This tournament determines my mood forever because I'm still not over 1998. I am still not over Pyeongchang. So it's like there's a lot at stake for me personally, even though I have no control over this, because I stand to be in a bad mood for the rest of my life if this team loses and loses bad. I would take a close 1-goal game. Like if they're going to lose and they're going to get silver, we've survived that before, kind of. Don't make it 5-0. Don't make it embarrassing. I don't want to know 5 minutes left that this team doesn't have a hope. Like that's so demoralizing.
Yeah, I suddenly sent my thoughts and prayers to Josh, whose mood is also going to be set for the next 4 years. Based on the good thing is Thursday.
We get to record She's Got Game immediately after. So I am going to leave my house after the gold medal game is over and drive directly to the studio.
So, for better or worse, no matter what happens, this week's She's Got Game will be Have you even scheduled anything else, or is it going to be 60 minutes of celebrating or cope? Like, what can we expect
basically?
This week?
Yeah. So we do have Victoria Bach on, which is going to be nice. She's going to. It's tough because we're interviewing her before the episode, like before we record, so we won't know the results of the game. So it's going to be a little bit more about her career and stuff like that. But, she won gold with Canada in Beijing, so she'll have a little bit of an insight as to what these players are going through. But yeah, the rest of it is basically just going to be me kind of doing what I did here and yelling about Troy Ryan and the usage of these players and
they might win Schreiter. Don't rule it out.
I don't even want to allow myself to get into that mindset because I'm so convinced. I don't know if I've said this before on the show, but I'm one of those people where during a big game, if my team goes down by like 1 goal, I'm like, well, it's over.
Yeah. I don't even care. Throw my remote away.
Canada won gold in women's soccer in 2021, but they went down 1-0 to Sweden in that game. And I was like, well, silver's nice.
Yeah. People love
it. Immediately, I just assume we're going to lose. So that's how I'm going into this game. I'm not even allowing myself to think about the possibility.
So I love curling. Double touch, motherfuckers. I don't care.
Yeah. Cheat.
Yeah. Whatever you have to do.
So. I'm a Patriots fan. I'm on board.
Oh, my God.
You ain't cheating. You ain't trying.
That's it. Schreids, I appreciate you taking some time out of your safe place to come and talk to us before you head back to your padded room for the next few hours before the game starts. Last question. Do your pets feel your stress? Like, I've been out there. I've met your dogs. Do they know you're not in a good mood and avoid you? Do they come and comfort you? How do the dogs react while you're going through this?
Do they ever? My girl dog gets so stressed watching sports with me. Like even I think she was traumatized by the Tokyo Olympics, to be honest with you, in the women's soccer tournament. Mm-hmm. The littlest shift in my, if I react to something or I tense up, she'll just get up and walk away from me. She's like, oh hell no, I'm not dealing with that. My boy dog, bless his heart, he just wants to comfort me and help me, but he doesn't know what to do. So he kind of starts freaking out. He's like, oh, what do you need? I don't know. I'll bring you something. I don't know. So yeah, my dogs, if any sports fans with pets know this, dogs, cats, pets, they pick up on your stress and sports are a tough time for them. So yeah, my dogs are not looking forward to this.
She's just looking at that screen again and she's all worked up. I don't get it.
Why is she yelling? Who died?
Yeah, it feels like most of this pod has been dedicated to the idea that we have no chance. Yep. There's a chance. There's always a chance, and that could make that this that much sweeter. Schreids. I'm still clinging to that little piece of hope. This one
God
last
bless.
wave.
God
Leanne
bless
Jenner and Sarah Nurse and Poulin on one leg, and we're gonna do the thing.
I don't know though. I know a lot of people are like, this is Poulin's last Olympics, and
I don't know about that, but
I don't know that I buy that. She's going to be 38 the next one. Sidney Crosby's 38 right now.
He's doing all right.
Listen, barring some major injury, a lot can happen in 4 years. I feel like we're going to see her at the very least in 2030. So I'm holding on to that. But yeah, for a lot of these players, this is the last time we'll see them here, which is
You feeling the frustration of the Victoire fan who assumed like she's coming home and then needs like a month and a half off to...
Oh, yeah. I am... Listen, Victoire fans, I am so sorry. That girl is going on LTIR.
For sure.
She
looks like she requires an amputation of some kind, and she's still out there playing.
And scoring. Yes. God, she's amazing. Yeah. Oh, but yeah, if I'm a Victoire fan, I'm a little stressed with that.
100%. Michaela Schreiter, courage to you, courage to your pets, certainly courage to Josh.
Likewise.
This is all gonna be a big deal. I can't wait. I got faith.
There's times like these I like to remind myself we're all gonna die one day.
Yeah, okay. Well.
There are worse things.
Strides makes it sound like that's Thursday at 1:00. So
you know what? There's a good chance. I'm not going to lie to you. These Olympics take years off my life, so let's see what happens.
We had Kevin Mickey from Sportsnet on the show yesterday. Go back and check that one out if you missed it. He's working the International Broadcast Center over there in Milano, and he's having a good time. He's saying that people over there are embracing the games. I'm curious though, Strides. If you were in Milan, are you looking for an Italian beer, or are you just wine all the time? Like, can you switch gears like he's managed to do?
I'm multifaceted, Matt.
Okay.
I can do a little bit. No, when I was in Italy,
I like will be the first wine I like. So
there you go.
Yeah.
When I went to Italy in 2018, and I had some really good Italian beer. I'm not going to lie to you. Okay. So I do a little bit of both. There's a time for wine and there's a time for beer, and I would enjoy all of the local flavor and what they have to offer.
I think Milan has a lot of flavor to offer. So go back and check that episode out if you missed it, good listener. For Michaela Schreiter, my name is Matt Robinson. Thanks so much for listening. Enjoy the game on Thursday if you can. White knuckle your way through it, and we'll check in on the podcast afterwards. Thanks for listening, everybody. We'll see you next time.
That's more.